बहुत बहुत शुक्रिया कैसे साहब for arranging this. It's always a pleasure coming to Karachi. Because in Islamabad, we set all the policies, we set all the, take all the decisions, but this is where the real stakeholders are. This is where the real industry is, this is where the real people are, and most importantly, this is where the automotive students are. And according to Sir, this is where the traffic is. So, when I came back to Pakistan, the first question I was asked, everybody asked me this question: what is crashworthiness? What is automotive safety? What is crashworthiness? And you spent your PhD doing automotive crashworthiness? Like, yes. Well, isn't that the driver's fault? It's like, yes, but then the vehicle must be forgiving. And then, ugly slide to tell you. So I brought Chacha Ghafoor along. Chacha Ghafoor is the archetype of the Pakistani mindset. And what he says about automotive crashworthiness is कि जी आजकल की जो गाड़ियाँ हैं वो बिल्कुल कागजी होती हैं और जो असली गाड़ियाँ होती थी वो पुरानी अमेरिकन गाड़ी होती थी और पुरानी वो सॉलिड होती थी, दरख्त पे लगे तो दरख्त टूट जाता था, दीवार पे लगे दीवार टूट जाती थी, and all that, and we took that advice. So to test that and to explain what crashworthiness is, I'm going to test this hypothesis. What we've done is एक पुरानी गाड़ी है 1969 की, just a minute, एक पुरानी गाड़ी है 1969 की Chevrolet, and the Institute of Highway Safety, they tested it against a newer car. The older car was heavier and was more aggressive. It was built like a tank, and the newer car was obviously softer. You all have an option, and this is going to be interactive. You all have an option, you can sit in one of those cars. Who's going for the old car? Okay, 2, 3, 4. Who's going to sit in the new car? What is the rest? What are the rest of you going to do? या तो हम साइंस के लिए लड़ते रहें, एक दूसरे से टकराते रहें और आप बैठ के तमाशा देखें. This is not going to happen. So who's in for the old car? More people. And who's in for the new car? This is what vehicle crashworthiness is. This subject is called vehicle crashworthiness, that accepting that the user will make mistakes and accepting the fact that there will be accidents, and then designing vehicles in such a way that the loss of injury is minimized. आगे चलिए. And it's where in the world there are 8 engineers trying to make cars faster or more stylish or more marketable. There are 2 engineers trying to make cars safer. That's called crashworthiness engineering. And when we talk at a consumer level about crashworthiness, what do we remember? Seat belts? What else? Airbags? Anything else from the students? Brakes, ABS, what else? Traction control, good. In fact, there are about 150 safety devices in your car. Starting from head restraints, the thing called headrest. The thing called headrest, जो आपके back side पे होता है, that's actually a safety device to prevent against whiplash injuries. Then, if you've noticed, the windscreen, that's made of a special kind of glass that turns into very small pieces. That's a safety regulation. And then there's dashboard, there's interior, there's seat belt, there are airbags, there are pretensioners. Then the steering wheel itself is collapsible. And the whole car itself is designed into 3 major phases. The middle part is the crumple zone. The middle part is the safety cage. It's supposed not to collapse. The front part is designed to crumple, and it's designed to absorb all the impact. And so is the rear part. Then there are side impact, there are critical axle parts, brakes, that's called active safety control, VLCs, lights, indicators. And then there are little things that you might have noticed, but you wouldn't have realized they're a safety device. Have you opened the radiator cap of your car? It's a 2-step device. just the radiator. That's a safety device. Then the bonnet, that's a two-step device. The door, it's a two-step failure device. That's a regulated safety device. आगे चलिए. And it's not that these things are there because the automakers just want to do it. They're controlled by a lot of regulations. And on everything, the roof, the interior, the exterior, everything, there is a certain regulation. For example, the ECE regulations are the ones implemented in Europe, and they're the ones which are being brought into Pakistan as part of the WP29 package. FMVSS are regulations in America. And what else do we have? Yes, FMVSS. Please, go ahead. And safety, crashworthiness, for whom? It's not just for the user, it's for the pedestrian also. And it's for the pedestrian, it's for the user in the subject vehicle and the object vehicle, both. And then safety before the accident, safety during the accident, and safety after the accident. Before the accident, active safety devices. Windshield wipers, that's a safety device. Defoggers, I mean, a lot of local manufacturers have actually taken defoggers out of their vehicles, but the thing to realize is it's a safety device. Then during the accident, seat belts, what else? Airbags, crumple zones, and then after the accident, post-crash safety, fire safety, door design. And crashworthiness research has gone into nitty-gritty detail of each one of these things. For example, this is the crumple zone, and it was devised in 1951 by Bela Bernay. The car you saw did not have a crumple zone. It crumpled at the wrong place. It's supposed to crumple right in the middle. Sorry, not supposed to crumple right in the middle. And this is, for example, the Ferrari F438 F438 chassis, and this is my PhD work. And if you could see, if you take a closer look, you'll find little crumple waves that are preset into the design, and they're designed as, they're designed to cause, cause an easier crumpling and easier dissipation of force. So this is the amount of detail. I mean, that's just one thing, and this is the amount of detail people are going into and doing this research into safety. And the results are very clear. This is Suzuki Swift NCAP crash test. I'm sure you've seen this on TV. This is a 5-star rating car. It crumples at the right place. Nothing happens to the user. The seatbelt works, the restraint system works. The dashboard is of a certain contour. The steering wheel is a collapsible steering wheel. It's designed to collapse and absorb impact. The steering wheel itself is weaker than your rib cage. It's designed to brake before the rib cage does. And it does all that. Can we have the next video? This, for example, is a terrible, terrible car. You see where it collapsed? Collapsed at the wrong place. And there was no survival space left for the occupant. And this video was used by the European automakers to market safety and to keep the Chinese automakers out of Europe. Safety has been associated with marketability, and a lot of companies, for example, Volvo and Mercedes, have used crashworthiness as one of their key marketing strategies. लेकिन चलें पाकिस्तान आ जाते हैं, वापस चाहिए। और हम बहुत सारी सेफ्टी की बातें करते हैं, बड़े बड़े क्रैश टेस्ट देखते हैं, और फिर हम पाकिस्तान आते हैं तो हमें ये नजर आती है सड़कों पे, और हम सोचते हैं क्या करें, क्या किया जा सकता है, और कुछ देर बाद हम ये कहते हैं कुछ नहीं किया जा सकता। लेकिन या तो एक तरीका है कि इंडियंस की तरह एक लॉ बना लें, जी एक्सीडेंट्स इलीगल, बस लाइफ इज गुड, बट अनलेस दैट कैन बी डन, क्या वाकई कुछ नहीं किया जा सकता? क्या वाकई कोई चीज इंप्रूव नहीं की जा सकती? यस, वी कैन स्टार्ट कि regulations, vehicle safety regulations can start from the brakes. जितने व्हील्स हैं उतनी ब्रेक्स हो. उसके बाद indicators, lighting, all 360 degree, you go around the vehicle and you can see the indicators. Then the tilt test, 28 degrees, tilt the vehicle, it shouldn't overturn. Things like these, and this is where we could start. और जो legal situation है पाकिस्तान में of vehicle crash worthiness, 1966 में there was a certain person called Ralph Nader जिन्होंने US में laws बनाए थे. 1969 में those laws came into Pakistan as MVR 1969, Motor Vehicle Rules of 1969. And abhi bhi, it's been 70 years, what we're doing is we're following MVR 1969 and MVO 19, Motor Vehicle Ordinance 1965. And if you go to get your vehicle fitness certificate, he gives you a vehicle fitness based on MVR 1969. It's been 70 years, these laws have not been changed. Automotive policies in the whole world have been going, at a rapid pace. We're still back in 1969. In the year 2000, we had another ordinance which was called the National Highway Safety Ordinance, जिसके तहत मोटरवे पुलिस बनी थी और दीगर इदारे बने थे. NHSO has been in place since 17 years now, and no laws have been it does have a it does have a provision to make rules, लेकिन no laws have been made as yet under NHSO. और उसके अलावा there are other organizations, for example, the Engineering Development Board, which are trying to implement WP29, lekin does not have a legal framework. There's PSQCA, they'll talk about what they do, and then there is Motor Vehicle Fitness Examiner's Office, which works under Motor Vehicle Rules of 1969. So, where do we start? And when I joined the NHA, National Highway Authority, as a consultant, we were faced with this enormous tasks. What do we do, and how do we make progress in this country? And it's an elephant in the room. It's a huge problem. And wherever we look, there's a problem in licensing, there's a problem in user behavior, there's a problem in everything. Where do we start? So what we started is, we realized that we didn't have any classifications. We didn't have any classifications, any nomenclature. We didn't even know what was on the road. NHA, for example, has this classification which is to do with the axle load limits. I think Federal Taxation Board has another classification which is based on engine size. And what was happening with this, there was nothing across the board, and what was happening with this were things like these on the road. This is 100 feet long, and since there's no regulation controlling it, we have something like this. And with the CPEC coming, what our future looks like. I mean, we talk of bright things of the CPEC, and we think of large trucks coming in, and this coming in, that coming in, lots of development. But what else is also coming are things like these. I found this on Alibaba being sold for Pakistan. That's an oil tanker on 3 wheels. Imagine if this comes on the road in Pakistan. And imagine what it's going to bring, the kind of havoc we're expecting. So what we needed was classifications. So the first step, and one more thing, things we did not like. There are things on Pakistani roads we do not like, and we'd rather have them off-road, but we can't have them. But we had to separate them from the things we did not like to the things we really, really hated. That was our starting point. So what we did as a first step was to classify everything. This is the National Highway Authority Pakistan Vehicle Classification Code. And we've made a technical definition of each type of vehicle, and we've classified them into different categories. आगे चलिए, ठीक है. This is what the classification is. And once we classified HTVs, I mean, we started with the HTVs because they were more important, but now we're moving to LTVs, and now we're moving to all types of vehicles as well. And once we did that, our next step was to define every vehicle. So this is what we did. Okay. We took every category of vehicle and we put a definitive size on it, and we put dimensions on it, and we put loading restraints on it. For example, this is the first truck, and there are, I think, 30 more categories of trucks. This has been made into a law. And I'm very happy to tell you that after 70 years of having no progress in laws, we've finally passed another law which is based on vehicle loading and geometric limits in Islamabad. And then things don't stop here. I mean, that was step number one, laws on geometric constraints. The other was, there are lots of engineering problems out there. Okay, keep an eye on the motorcyclist on the left. Can you see that video again? Strictly in engineering terms, what do you think could have prevented this accident? Or what kind of regulation could have prevented this accident? Yes, there is a lack of lane discipline, there is a lack of driver awareness, and there is a lack of traffic rules, for example. इस पे ट्रक पे ऊपर लेफ्ट टर्न पे क्लिक कीजिएगा, ठीक है, और फिर साइक्लिस्ट पे क्लिक कीजिए. But the bigger problem is a lack of engineering. You see, what happened is the cyclist on the left was in the blind spot, and the driver overlooking his shoulder couldn't see the vehicle, and and he couldn't hear it. And the moment the driver turned, the cyclist came underneath. And the solution is very simple. We have to have a regulation on mirrors. Broad forward mirrors can solve this problem very, very easily. So this is what we are trying to do. And then another problem, conspicuity. Watch this accident. आगे चलिए. What happened was, it was an articulated truck, and when it was turning, the oncoming traffic couldn't realize if the truck was turning or going straight. That's called conspicuity. It happens at night, happens a lot, happens at unlit intersections. I investigate accidents for the government as well, and this is one of the accidents we saw greatly. The person who was driving is dead, and his head is right in the rear seat. And this accident could have been very easily prevented. आगे चलिए. What we have done next as part of our regulations, set of regulations, are conspicuity regulations. Regulations on lighting, regulations on side lighting, regulations on rear lighting. All types of lighting devices that there are, we have to control their illumination level, their positioning, their color, and code them accordingly. This is the second part of the project we did. And then we also worked on repair and maintenance as well. That we had a third set of regulations which was about repair and maintenance of the critical axle components and of the components we are supposed to carry on a vehicle. Okay. Can we play this video? This video I've been showing everywhere since I've come, and we did a survey on color kahar. We realized 58% of accidents on the motorway, not 58% of accidents, 58% of deaths on the motorway occur due to this very accident. Does anybody remember Alam Lohar? Yes, he died in a very similar accident. Parveen Shakir, she died in exactly the same accident with an SUV. And the sad part is, the real sad part is, it's a very, very easy solution. All you have to do is have a better underride guard, because the vehicle itself is designed to crash. I mean, there is a crumple zone right in front, it just doesn't work in this case. Seat belts don't work, airbags doesn't work, because there's no survival space left. And the solution is rather very, very simple. Just a stronger underride guard, 2 cents. That's all it'll take to save a life. Okay. And that's where I appeal to the students. I mean, you have to start working on crashworthiness research. आगे चलिए. आगे. This is cyclist suck-in. Every accident has a classification, every accident has a name, and every accident has a solution in engineering. How do you prevent cyclist suck-in? आगे चलिए. How do you have side underride guards. You have side underride guards, you have side underride guards, you have rear underride guards, and that's all you need to prevent a lot of accidents. The solution lies in engineering. This is the third part of our project, what we did for NHA, and we designed and specified a sort of underride guards which we used for which we can use for automotive applications. So, brings me to the consequence. WHO estimates that 35,000 people die. You know, some say it's 25, some say it's 30. But I just want you to put that into perspective. 3,000 people die in terrorism in Pakistan. About 3,500 died in 9/11, and there was a huge policy shift. 144 people died in APS Peshawar. And if you remember that day, we were all stunned and we were looking at this, what happened? But 144 people die every day in Pakistan on road traffic accidents. Our real enemy is not terrorism, it's not poverty, it's traffic accidents. And it's only when young people come together, all heads come together, and we solve this issue collectively, that this issue would be solved. Otherwise, we'll still be losing, more and more people every year. So thank you very, very much. It was thank you for an honor. Like I've always said, this is where the traffic is, and it's an honor presenting in Karachi. Thank you very much.